All right, all happy Monday. Hope you're doing well. Hope you had a great weekend. Bitcoin had a great weekend, right? Little bit of an explosive move yesterday. Going into the close. This we're on the 1 hour chart, by the way. Going into a couple hours before closing. This happened in, if you're watching, this is like 5 minutes. The majority of this move happened within minutes. I think it was about $700 within 5 minutes or so. And then this hourly candle ended up closing $800 up after. So this is from the bottom to the top here is about $1,000. So pretty significant out of Bitcoin, right? Especially when you're going into the weekly close. That could maybe we shake up some volatility for this week ahead. So we'll pay attention. Looking at this chart, we're still good, right? What's our rules, right? As long as you're strong uptrend, as long as you're holding that EMA 8, 14, or the 21. When you start to break below the 21, that's when the strong moves at least are likely over, and maybe even a local top for the next mini sessions. But for the hourly, any cause for concern just yet? Not really, right? We're holding the EMA 8, but this candle right here, right? Looking at that, right? We're watching this guy because could be a local top candle, right? Just kind of a shooting star-ish. Not exactly textbook, but certainly worth watching. That high right now, 28.5. So we'll watch and see if that is the local top. Kind of look back over here, and we see this candle right here. My computer's a little laggy so far this morning, so looking right there, right? That candle, right, kind of marked the local top, right? So shooting star again right there. Shooting stars can be red or green, right? So don't pay attention to that. A lot of people get that wrong. It's just, if they're red, they're a little bit more higher conviction rate. So just side note on that. But still, local top, yes, right? That was, we still kind of held up here. We even made really close. But that was kind of the local top before more consolidation. So we'll see if that holds true again. This is only hourly chart, so less important than the higher time frames, right? So speaking of that, let's go over to the higher time frames. Let's go to the 4 hour, see what we got brewing here. Look at spectacular move. We ran right into the EMA 21, right at the upper Bollinger Band, holding that, right? Anytime you can do that, and you start to see it explode, right? There's the breakout level, really our breakout zone, where we've held really for days, weeks, seemingly boring price action, and now maybe we get a move up. So this zone is not only important for the breakout, it'll be important if we get a throwback, right? Don't become bearish if we get a throwback here, because there's bigger things happening on the bigger time frames, right? So we'll get to that in a minute, but if we come back down, there'll be a lot of the bears come back out, but it's probably time to shift gears here, right? We're back to the bigger bull case here. This is pretty significant of a move to the upside. So 28.4, we'll see. I mean, we might we want to pay attention to what's going on here. If we get a move higher, right, we'll get to the upper resistance zones in just a second. But you should be relatively familiar with what I'm going to say, right? Nothing's really changed, but this has changed, right? This will be the new throwback bullish retest, 27.5 to 27.2. We're still bullish above that, even though we break back below these kind of moving averages that we like to hold. We could get a kind of a brief, move back down or not, right? We don't have to. I'm just saying, like, this is our throwback zone on this 4 hour chart. If this happens in the next day or two, this is the level to watch, right? If you miss this initial move, you want to get some more, right? It's probably going to be in your best interest to stack some more here. But hopefully, maybe you've just been dollar cost averaging over the past couple of weeks, and that's likely paying off at least a little bit for now. Let's zoom out a little bit more to the daily. So now let me remove that zone. So what's going on here, right? Well, the bigger importance here is the close yesterday. Why is that significant? Well, we made a higher high. That solidifies this as a new uptrend, right? We talked about that. This downtrend is now over. Ipso facto, no arguing there, right? Based on TA alone, the rules are higher highs, higher lows. We've gotten two. We got a double check mark. You got your low here, your first high, your higher low, right? Check, check. And now we have an official higher high. We took out this high and this high. That's a double whammy. We are in a new uptrend. Don't let anyone tell you different. We are in a new daily chart uptrend. Make that engraved in your brain. We're in a new uptrend. Stop thinking downtrend now. The uptrend could end tomorrow, sure, but we're in an uptrend. I don't know when the uptrend will stop, but this downtrend is now over by definition. Let me make that crystal clear. Okay, now also very significant is that we talked about this. Let me just circle this. My computer is ultra laggy. I'm going to have to do a kind of sweep after this. So right here, this top, rejection, right? We talked about this just a couple days ago. And rejection. 3 perfect resistance rejections off of the 100 EMA. We said that's resistance until proven otherwise. When will we be proven otherwise? We make a decisive close above it. Yeah, that's a pretty decisive close above it yesterday, right? That's money, right? That's perfect, just ripping down the fence, right? No tiptoe around. Those are the ones you want to watch for. The clear, decisive breaks, not... I think it might have closed above it, right? Those you don't want to put too much weight in. Decisive closes, that's big. And then a follow-up the next day, right? We're seeing that as well. Now, could we end up selling off and coming back down here? Yes, but that's still okay. We'd be a little bit more cautious at that point, but still, that's kind of the throwback, right? I would almost expect that in the next sometime this week before continuation to back to the upside. So, we'll look for that. It doesn't have to come all the way back down here, but watch for these daily moving averages, the 8, the 14, the 21, wherever those are. We're now, broken above the 200 as well, the 100. I mean, there's big things brewing here, right? So we can draw a little bit of a trend line here. Let's do it properly, right? Put it on closing prices. Here's your closing low, right? And here's our new trend line. So until we start to close multiple candles below that, the uptrend is intact and will remain as an uptrend until then. So here's your uptrend line. Draw it on your chart. Save it, be it, live it, love it. Resistance to the upside, right? We are approaching much bigger resistance, but we got a little bit of ways to go, right? Same part we've talked about for weeks now, right? 29K is the start. And I would go up to, let's say, you can make it 30K, a nice round number. Sure, and I would do that, I guess. But, to make it a little bit more concrete, I think the bigger bulls really start showing up at 29.8. If we're starting to close daily candles above 29.8, 30K, all bets are off, right? We could be back in the it could be an early Christmas. Let's summarize it that way, right? It could be really nice if we're closing back above 30K, but the initial times that we retest, not just Bitcoin, any chart, if you're looking at a bigger resistance zone, and this is a big resistance zone, so let me make that crystal clear. This is huge, right? And the first initial test will likely fail, right? That's not just my opinion. That's just how it really works. You can drag this zone all the way out here, right? You see that flipped? Then we got stuck in the mud here and then break down. We're very likely going to at least hit at 29K or 30K. Somewhere in this place, we're going to get stuck probably the first time, and then it will be important to watch said trend line for a move back down. So let's paint a rough picture if you're still lost here. Here's our move up, right? We're working on our peaks and troughs here. So let's imagine sometime this week we come up to, say, 29-ish K or higher, right? We could go a little bit higher. And then we would want to watch for either a test here or the MA8, the 14 or 21. So, maybe we do this. This would be kind of structurally ideal, right? Because we'd maintain higher highs even throughout this. So 27.5-ish, 27.7, 28K, and then a move back again. And then you want to pay attention to what it does here, because if the bigger bulls are here and they're, this is in fact the bottom is in, and we've confirmed this as a double bottom, which we've also talked about, this would confirm the double bottom. This would be massive, right? If we're getting prices back above 30K before the end of this year, it's likely going to be a real good end of Q4 and spectacular Q1 2024. So be prepared for this. This would confirm a double bottom, we will likely never see Bitcoin's prices ever again that low. I mean, that's pretty profound words, right? To say that, and for me to say that is pretty bold, right? I'm usually more conservative, but I think if we see closing multiple daily candles, even on the daily chart here, we're just talking daily, we're not even to the 3-day or the weekly. If we can see multiple daily closes above 30K again, anytime between now and the end of the year, I think Bitcoin will never again go this low. That's pretty good, right? I think that's pretty good. I think that's even an early Christmas present in itself from me. All right, so it's still a big if, but we're at least have it in our mindset now, right? If we can do something above 30K between now and the end of the year, when we have a while, right? It's out of this damn frame, so its potential is there, but it's going to all depend on how we react initially to this first zone and what we do if we bounce here, right? If we lose this, right, and we do something like this, and we kind of break it and then kind of trend sideways and then kind of do this, then we're still in trouble, and we could potentially take this out or even lower. So there's definitely concerns, but given the newfound evidence of Bitcoin bullish price action in the past 24 hours, this is now back on the table. Okay, so hopefully that makes you smile a little bit, makes you a little bit happier, potentially, right? It's there. We want to see all these moving averages curling up, which they're starting to. The 100 is even starting to make a move. We need the 200 to start moving up again, and then watch out. Takes some time, probably take another couple of weeks, maybe most of October, but as they say, October for stocks and crypto can sometimes be Uptober. Right, so we're seeing that as of right now, 28. We're flirting with 28.5 as we speak here, so we will see. Keep this trend line on your chart, right? Don't redraw it, right? Don't cherry pick. It is what it is. That line is the line. Do not redraw that line in a day, a week, a month, or a year. That's the line, right? We have 2 established points, right? That's the minimum you need. And if we had 17 touch points, we only have 2. If we had 17, that would be huge. But again, diagonal lines have much less weight to them than horizontal lines or even zones. All right, I put zones even ahead of diagonal lines. But sharp lines, right? Taking like say this peak out, right? That's huge. Taking this peak out, that's huge, right? We've done both, right? Horizontal lines hold much more weight than in just tradition. Not my opinion, right? That's a fact in TA that you learn. Diagonal lines just show a loose trend. It's just meant to identify your uptrend and the potential of that uptrend ending. And it's just potential, right? It's just a trend line, right? So now what we could be doing is forming a, just a, higher high, higher lows. But, the big stuff comes, right? Just not to beat a dead horse here, but above 30K. And until we're above that, right, we're still cautious. But yesterday was a big, home run, really. I would say a home run for the Bulls, right? Knock it out of the park when we've been striking out, right? And, some guy stepped up to the plate and just smashed it into the parking lot, broke the Mercedes-Benz window, and is still laughing, okay? But that's where we're at for now. We'll watch it every day this week. Hopefully you found that helpful. Let's take just a brief look at the weekly chart. I mean, it's starting to look pretty good, right? Let's remove those lines, right? You want to kind of you look at the lines that you drew on each different chart, but really just each chart should have its own kind of, characteristics, so to speak. So in this chart, I would argue that we've done absolutely not a thing yet. I would say we're still relatively sideways, and, this is just part of our next stair step up, and we're still in this sideways zone, right? And we've talked about this, right? The move up from December, right? Almost we're approaching a year ago now. Here's our move down is 11 months ago, almost to the day here, where our final lows were kicking in, and then our move up, right? Step 1 of the bull market. Step 2 is usually sideways. Step 3 is goodbye bears, right? And we're not there yet. That happens above 32K, right? 30K. Even on the weekly chart, 30K is pretty big. 30K plus, we start to make our move back to the heavens, right? We're going back to the good old days. And I don't know what this drawing is. Ignore all this, but you're just trying to drive home the point there. Hopefully you got that. We're still trending sideways. If you had to really, state the facts, we haven't done anything. Building our base for our next move, right? And this is, we could go up here to 29-30K and then just go sideways for another several weeks to even months. That would still be okay, right? If we're above all moving averages, we're by definition bullish, right? Yes, you should be, yes. Now, what else do I see that's pretty big is we kind of flirted with getting above the median Bollinger Band line, and now this week we're seeing some follow through so far, right? We still have the entire damn week to go, but good signs ahead. I would love to close above 30K, obviously, but even this close would be huge on a weekly scale, 29.3. If we can close above 29.3, watch out. I don't know what's to come, but probably you're starting to leak, and edge towards the bigger bulls coming out. So we'll watch this as it shapes up, but love to see the close above the 100 week with authority, right? A little bit esque of this. So we want to watch out for repeats of that, right? So if we go up, right, you see we briefly made a higher high and then send it back lower for one more fake out down and then kaboom, right? We could absolutely do that again, right? We could absolutely this could be the new higher high, come back down, kind of put in these lower highs, one more fake out down at Thanksgiving or Christmas, and then kaboom, right? We could absolutely do that. So do not lose sight of the bigger picture on the weekly. We could just be doing something like this, very similar to what we did back in here, right? Before, maybe, Christmas, January, we do something like that, right? This is still on the table. We don't know what we're going to do yet, but the potentials are there all around. So hopefully this is a little bit eye-opening for you, right? Or not, and maybe this is just, confirming what you already thought. They are who we thought they were. So that's that. Hopefully you found that helpful. If you did, good. If not, you've stopped watching a long time ago. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.